What are you doing here?
Now, this is a police investigation.
Hey, I'm just looking for somebody. I didn't think that was a criminal offense.
Well, what do you suggest?
Well, I'd put Link and McLean under surveillance.
Now, that is a fine example of temperate zone mentality. You want me to place an entire forest under surveillance?
I want you to do what any good police officer would do in the temperate zone or the Arctic zone or at the equator. I want you to do your job.
Piloting Error, a show where we watch shit that was uploaded to YouTube that was on TV at some point, but nobody ever wanted to watch. My name is Stuart, and with me, as always, is Joe.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Joe, are you ready to eat some moose burgers and lamb stew?
I am getting absolutely shithoused on this one in honor of the star of this pilot.
Yes. And joining us again from the Tattertown episode, it's Chris Day.
Woo, hello. Just thinking about Alaska here. Don't mind me. I'm just pining for the upper one.
Pining for your childhood, trapping fur bears and wrangling beaver.
Well, market research was overwhelmingly conclusive. The kids want easy listening country stars who have been dead for 20 plus years. So we found the perfect pilot. It's the 1988 John Denver CBS Sunday night movie.
And I'm finding some high ground when the John Denver's in it.
I was just thinking, I need to have an electric piano going here. I can't believe I'm unprepared. I have a DX7 sitting here looking at me. Damn it.
What the fuck? You have a fucking DX7?
I do.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I hope you got it at a thrift store price.
Nah, not really.
So I feel like we've been watching a lot of really weird, far out stuff, and this is like coming back to Earth. That's kind of my first thoughts about this. What would be your first take?
I weirdly liked it. I had a hard time hating on it.
Kind of did too. I was really immediately amused. Clipped along at a nice pace. The cinematography was shockingly nice, kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
It clearly is directed by a real person, and I mean, I of course wanted more, John Denver as Charles Bronson here, just taking out the trash. But
Yeah.
Oh my god.
but that aside, it felt good. It felt good that be enough.
So we thought that this was going to be John Denver as an asshole cop.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of disappointing.
He had his moments.
Yeah, but I mean, I was wanting drunken, angry. I don't know if John Denver could do it. I don't know if he could do it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. He's just too nice.
Yeah.
Other than apparently the incident when he was divorcing his first wife and he chainsawed their bed in half.
Really?
It's a real thing.
He talked about it in an interview I just watched with him. Yeah, chainsawed our bed in half.
I think there was some sketchy domestic situations as well, but that's just a little disappointing for my childhood. Being defined by John Denver.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's perfect, not even John Denver.
That's right. I
feel like this was just a really bland by the book movie with a lot of John Denver and some great British Columbia for Alaska search and rescue action, which was kind of cool. And honestly, it reminded me a lot of MacGyver.
Oh yeah, or Airwolf.
Yeah, the kind of like boilerplate plot, but it needed to be more quirky. John Denver, he needs to like really be into pudding or have a cool hat. Or something, he needs something.
I mean, he did eat a mean apple while flying a plane, so like, I think it was an apple, right?
No, they were oranges because he gives them to his friend's wife, and she's like,
"Oh, Jim, thanks. This is terrific. Oranges are like gold up
Yeah,
there."
that's right. How could I forget? Single favorite moment in the entire pilot, by the way, is the opening credits where he's just snacking on an orange while flying a plane. And he's clearly flying a plane. I mean,
yes.
that's
absolutely.
points. Of course he is.
There's no way he would have done this show if they didn't let him fly the plane.
Exactly.
That's what he wanted. He was like, I want to do a show where I get to fly a plane and be in nature for a couple of days.
Honestly, this is one of the ones where I'm like, fuck, what could have been?
Yeah.
I would have definitely watched this as a kid.
Yeah.
And it might be just mostly because I just love John Denver.
Same.
A certified John Denver freak.
In this, though, is his character a Mary Sue? Like, he's just likable and everybody likes him and he can't do anything wrong.
He is pretty insufferably likable. I mean, I can see where the no good nicks are poo-pooing on him. He's a little too perfect, so, you know, he could stand to take a snifter of port now and then.
Yeah, I wonder if they let him drink on set on this.
Yeah.
He famously had a couple of bad DUIs and lost his legal ability to fly, but still flew. The FAA took away his flight privileges, and he just was like, well, fuck them. I'm just going to do whatever I want.
Towards the end, we'll get into what happened to him, but don't want to kill him right at the beginning here.
Right.
This pilot seems to be really popular with the John Denver fans. If you go through the comment sections, it's just people raving about how much they love him. They love this movie. It's so great. He's so great. And so much so that it's actually the most watched pilot that we've watched on this show.
Oh, is it?
It has 70,000 views.
And that's just on the crappy version that you found?
On the crappy version that was taped off TV, that's 7,000 views a year.
Wow.
That's way more than any pilot that we've watched.
Yeah, the good version only has 5,500 views. What the hell? And it's like substantially better quality.
But it's only like a year old, and it's got pretty much the exact same amount of views on average.
That comes courtesy of the channel John Denver Legend. Thank you.
I smashed that subscribe button, let me tell you.
I'm going to hit that bell to get those notifications every time they upload a new John Denver related video.
Well, you think they're still finding lost John Denver footage?
Oh, there's a trove. There's a trove out there.
You don't even know about the John Denver bootleg community. It's deeper than the dead, man.
I mean, did you even know about the John Denver movie that he did with Abel Ferrara? I mean, it was...
He's an awesome guy, just the nicest guy in the world, peace and conservation activist.
First Amendment activist as well.
When
Tipper Gore, they were doing the parental advisory trying to ban vulgar music or whatever.
Like Twisted Sister.
Fucking of all people, the most innocent music anyone's ever recorded outside of like the Carpenters.
And he stuck up for like the metal guys that were...
Dead Kennedys, I think. And
yeah, Dead Kennedy is yellow.
He went in and all the congressmen were big John Denver fans. And they were like, "Oh, we got the most likable guy in the world on our side," and they had no idea he was actually testifying against such things. I'm like, "What a badass! I love him."
That fucking rules.
Yeah,
class act.
Appreciate that. Yes, I have an appointment with NASA at noon, and
this wasn't out of nowhere. He had several successful acting roles in the 70s.
Most notably with the Muppets.
John Denver and the Muppets, starring John Denver and John's special guest stars Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, Gonzo, Floyd, Scooter, and Rolf.
But he was in Oh God, where George Burns plays God.
Yeah.
I think I saw it when I was a kid.
It's one of those classic Saturday movies that just is depressing as shit to even think about.
It has a really high score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Bizarre.
So I guess he's not a bad actor, I suppose.
I thought he was serviceable at this. He wasn't super believable as an FBI agent, but I don't know. He brought his own style to it.
He has the face of a golden retriever, just unquestionable loyalty and lovableness.
And so tan.
all that time next to the sun, you know, flying up there above the clouds.
This was not shot in Alaska, by the way.
Yeah, British Columbia.
Yes.
Very scandalous.
And I found this comment from an IMDb user from 2012. Shout out to Maransom on IMDb. As an Alaskan, I find any reference to Alaska or its lifestyle to be sorely lacking. Great scenery, but it was shot in British Columbia in Canada, not in Alaska. A shot of a raccoon when Alaska has no raccoons. In one conversation with an Indian kid, there's reference to the kid's father's losing his pine grove. There are no pine groves in Alaska, but there are plenty of stands of spruce.
Shit.
God, such a fucking specific complaint.
My love of IMDb user reviews knows no bounds.
They really are the best. An underrated
Yeah.
comment section.
Yeah. 2012 is a later one, too. Man.
There were a couple from the last 2 or 3 years.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I think people are watching this. You can get it anywhere. I found it for sale on Target's website.
Pretty sure I saw it on the Criterion channel for the Robert Day
Yeah.
retrospective. Shout out to Day. Yeah.
Is he a relative?
He is now.
Making a big adoptive family.
Do we want to read the LA Times review? This is one that's contemporary.
Oh yeah, I was in love with this. It's brief and to the point. Love 80s bitchiness. So this is by Lynn Heffley of the LA Times. High Ground seems an apt title for the new TV movie airing Sunday night on CBS because after watching it, viewers may feel the urge to seek some. Oh. The film, 9 p.m. on channels 2 and 8.
Oh, wow.
Double throat. Stars John Denver as an FBI agent who quits to become a bush pilot in Alaska and ends up investigating a bootlegging operation and his best friend's murder. Denver has lost his Buster Brown haircut and granny glasses over the years.
Buster Brown?
Buster Brown.
I'm Buster Brown. I live in a shoe.
Making this forever boyish nice guy an action cop is like Mr. Rogers swearing. It's not to be believed.
Oh my God.
Denver is also the co-executive producer here, but there's plenty of blame to go around. Michael Eric Stein's stultifying script, Robert Day's loose direction, and the miscasting not only of Denver, but of Richard Masur as the most obvious villain since Snidely Whiplash are not to be discounted. Add a score by Lee Holdridge that doesn't know whether it's part of a Cecil B. DeMille epic or a John Denver special. Denver sings the title song, which he co-wrote with Holdridge, as we see lots and lots of footage of him in his plane flying through clouds over snow-capped peaks and ocean. The lyrics go, maybe it's just the dream in me, maybe it's just my style. Whatever happened to Rocky Mountain High? The dialogue is bad enough to suspect parody. When I was a boy, I left Scotland to seek my fortune, explains John Rhys-Davies as a tough Alaskan policeman who thinks Denver is a troublemaker. He somehow doesn't see Masur, the town's leading citizen, hulking around with creepy henchmen. Denver, using a sort of Crocodile Dundee taming technique, talks killers into putting down their guns by saying, "Easy does it. Come on, pal." He calls everyone pal. When it ends, Denver is a hero and series pilot syndrome seems to fill the air. Come on, pal.
Jeez. God damn.
Just love it. Authorized Buster Brown dealers.
I mean, I always heard it. They always called it the little Dutch boy look. But Buster Brown, that's just...
It is very 80s. I just remember, calm down, Buster Brown, from your teachers or something.
He's probably 100 years old, or she.
They weren't letting women write articles for newspaper in the 80s yet.
I actually don't know and this could very well be, I don't know, Lynn, Lynne.
That's definitely an old man name. So this aired on CBS, and it was the highest rated show that night.
That's St. Elsewhere.
It was up against, on Fox, the Gary Shandling show and the Tracy Ullman show.
Wow. Heavy hitters.
I'd probably be watching that, honestly.
Yeah, I've never seen the Gary Shandling show, but if it's anything like the Larry Sanders show...
Quite good, yeah.
It's probably quite good.
Oh, I think I thought that's what that was. I get those mixed up.
No, it's his show before Larry Sanders, but I've never gotten around to watching it. It'll go along with Mary Hartman on shows that just have not dug deep enough into.
Probably up on Daily Motion, too.
Hartman has like 400 episodes, so,
Jesus.
NBC had The Man Who Wasn't There. I don't remember that.
Huh. Is that not the Coen brothers one?
Tilly Todd Thornton.
His brother, who's from Louisiana instead of Texas.
Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah.
He's from Arkansas.
He's from Arkansas?
You can tell by his accent. His accent is exactly like mine. Flat Arkansas.
God damn it, are you fucking with me?
Let me just correct you there. No, you cannot.
No?
No, you cannot tell the difference. He sounds like a Texan. especially in Princess Mononoke, where he plays a Japanese
Yes.
monk.
My God.
I reckon we're gonna go on down to the Shinto shrine to pray to the Buddha. Whatever the fuck.
How dare you speak to a god like that?
Before I forget, Arkansas AR, Alaska AK.
Uh-huh.
Quit putting Arkansas as AK. It's a public service announcement.
Also, AK and AR, great guns. Highly recommended. We have no choice but to stand.
All right, let's talk about what the versions we watched. Joe, you found the nicer version.
Yeah, it's basically a straight up DVD rip, it looks like.
Thank you for that, Joe. Because the other one, I couldn't quite tell if John Denver had a face or not.
Yeah. I tried watching that for a half a second, and then I paused it, and I saw the recommended video underneath, and I was like, oh, I bet this is better quality.
I didn't even get that far. I got 6 minutes in, and I was like, I think he just shoved someone over. No, he didn't even shove him. Okay.
That's the one that I watched. It's terrible quality, and the sound is cut to the right.
Yeah, that's right. One channel.
And it's very, very small.
What year was that uploaded?
2012.
Jesus Christ.
I think it was taped off TV during the original broadcast because it has the commercials, but not all of them, just one or two.
Yeah, I didn't even get that far. I would have loved to watch those.
Yeah, that was the best part of the last pilot we did.
Yeah.
The Eddie Izzard pilot cows.
Yeah, we're definitely reviewing commercials from now on.
Well, I'm disappointed, and I'll get into, mom territory here soon enough, but I'll just leave that hanging. But I was just home for the holidays and found boxes and boxes of old VHS tapes, and my mom was, in love with John Denver. And there's probably higher ground on a tape somewhere, I almost guarantee it. If it had Denver, man, that Johnny
Oh,
Boy.
man.
If you find it, and it's actually got higher ground written, like, on the label.
Oh, she was a librarian, so immaculately laid out.
Take a picture of it, and we will upload it to our supplemental information Instagram.
Gladly.
Did you ask her about this?
No, not yet. Didn't want to get her too hot and bothered this early in January.
She'll get goddamn hypothermia.
John Denver was my real father, I think. And
Yeah.
John Denver piping through the house all the time. So I see no ill in this man. He's a perfect specimen. And I'll tell you the one time I got to see my mom horny. And it was on Christmas Day a few years ago. I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, something like that. I find a John Denver documentary about his life on PBS or something. Put it on, and the whole family's there, literally opening stockings and stuff in the living room. So this was perfect domestic situation. John Denver, I'm like, oh, this is lovely. And there was a clip of John Denver on one of his specials, and there's just a warm spotlight on him. He's just alone on a soundstage, dead quiet, no acoustics, just like real intimate. And John he has his guitar in his lap on a stool, and he just looks at the camera and says, well, if you don't mind, I'd like to sing you a little song now. And my mom, unaware that there was the whole family in the room, just goes, oh, John, you can sing to me anytime.
Oh my God! Oh my God.
And my sisters and I just look over like, God damn, keep it in your pants, Mom. It was, and then she kind of snapped out of it and was like, oh, yeah.
Chris's mom is one of the most reserved ladies I've ever known. It's impossible to get a rise out of her, even with our group of just loud, vulgar boys hanging out. She's just very demure.
The worst she'll do is come in during our stinkery of just teenage boys, and she'll be like, oh, it smells like boys in here. It smells like a locker room.
Oh my God. That's so rich.
That's my mom's John Denver stories.
He really did have that effect on women.
So John Denver is an FBI agent, Jim Clayton, and he lives in Los Angeles. And he's kind of at a crossroads in his life. He just got divorced, and while he's good at his job, he has a shitty boss that is interfering in his investigations and making things harder than they need to be. But he does have a sweet plane that he likes to fly around the harbor.
And what a fucking sweet plane it is. The Beaver.
Leave it to the Beaver.
That's basically the dream.
Is that what it's called, the Beaver?
That's what it says on the side.
That's amazing.
It's such a goddamn cool plane.
Now would have been the better time to tell my mom's story, huh?
Oh my god!
Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
So then his buddy, Rick, shows up.
Yeah, Martin Kove of Cobra Kai, of Karate Kid, in the rare, nice, likable guy role.
Yeah.
And he fucking kills it in that role. He should have played more nice guys.
That would be just too damn tedious.
He's just kind of a lovable oaf.
He's a jerk to his wife, I'd say, and his kid, but likably so.
You know, who's not?
I will say when it comes down to it, he does the right thing, but overall, he's kind of a jerk.
All right.
He's a former agent, and he's moved to Alaska, and he was like working with his father-in-law, and his father-in-law died.
Yeah, from his wife.
I just had to swing by and see old Jimzo before I got back to the fastest growing small flying service in Alaska.
Anakin Air is what it's called, which is very strange, and I don't know if there's some other meaning to Anakin than Star Wars.
Skywalker Air was shut down by CBS.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
So he's purposely getting in over his head. He's like spent a bunch of money on, planes and shit. And now he's trying to get John Denver to quit the FBI and come and join him in Alaska. But John Denver just isn't sure if he's ready to quit his job and move. We cut to later that night, and John Denver, he's undercover trying to catch these bad guys. He meets them in, I think, a hotel lobby or maybe a shopping mall.
Hard to
Yeah,
tell.
it looks like both. Yeah.
A place with a bunch of chairs, like a lobby of
It
something.
looks like every location from 80s Hong Kong blood operas. It's a mall, but it's also a hotel, but it's also a grocery store.
It's just like a mini mall. Check it out now.
And we love it.
So he sits down with these guys and they exchange a suitcase of cash. The guy who gets the suitcase, his name is Herman.
Pleasure doing business with you.
He gets up and leaves, and then John Denver gets up to leave, but the third guy, for some reason, starts having a fist fight with John Denver. Not complaining, it was pretty good, but...
Sure, I always wanted to see what he would look like swinging a punch.
Then John Denver chases after Herman, catches up with him, and reveals that he's an FBI agent.
Denoso! FBI.
And Herman is panicking.
FBI, huh? You conned me into this.
And he pulls out a gun.
Herman, what are you doing with a gun? Ice front, look at me. You don't want to do this, Herman. Don't make this any worse than it is, pal. Look at me. Give me the gun.
But John Denver is talking with him, trying to get the gun from him. And this is like his thing that the review is talking about. He's a criminal whisperer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working. And they're right up against the railing of the shopping center or whatever. And he almost gets the gun, but at the last moment...
FBI, drop it! No!
The chief, he jumps out and he scares Herman, and Herman falls over the railing. And we get the first of the John Denver stunned faces.
He really doesn't have a face that's suited to emoting.
Achingly sincere.
Why would you do that?
You didn't have to kill that man.
You did not have to kill that man.
That's what he said.
He was fine.
Oh, there was a moment, too, I just want to call out. He does a beautiful little electric slide all the way across the railing. Did you catch this? I had to watch it 3 times in a row.
Oh, shit.
It was
No.
beautiful.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. He's running, and he just like, hey, pal, stop. I was very attracted.
Damn. I'm definitely going to be rewatching this.
Yeah, rewatch that. That was something criminally underused right there. Who knew?
He's got the fancy footwork of a Jackie Chan.
I'm serious. I don't understand a word from your mouth.
He could have been the Gene Kelly of his time.
Fuck Gene Kelly, you motherfucker!
Well, anyway, this is all just too much for him.
You don't have the right attitude anymore.
I've got the perfect attitude, pal. I'm out of here.
Seems really stupid to quit a job with a pension as good as FBI agents have.
It's true, and clearly a mistress of some sort.
Jim, what are you doing? Oh, you better go somewhere and cool off.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
The first of the John Denver face touches of the movie.
He has a charm over women.
I think we've made that perfectly clear.
We made that very clear.
So we get the amazing beginning with John Denver singing Higher Ground, which was brand new at the time, so it was really hot. And he's flying over glaciers, and it's just everything you could hope for.
Maybe this was his version of Thriller. I'm going to make an hour-and-a-half music video for Higher Ground.
Oh.
No, that's ignorant.
That's, I could see it. He was a very smart businessman along with being a talented musician.
Could you fly a plane from LA to Alaska? Is that even possible?
Yeah, you could. So they don't really say where he is in Alaska, but I would assume that you could get to the lower part of Alaska where like Anchorage and Homer and Sitka are. I mean, that's a decent sized plane. It's a 2-seater, maybe a 4-seater, but it's pretty decent size. I bet it has 2 fuel tanks at least.
So I think he would have to be in northern Alaska because that's where the dry counties are.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You're right. There's no way he could have made it on 2 tanks. He definitely would have had to refill.
Well, he clearly stopped in British Columbia to film the movie, so...
Wake up all my fucking neighbors scream laughing out here.
So he shows up in Alaska. It actually says Jordan, Alaska on a building.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
But that's not a real town. There is no Jordan, Alaska. So
really? They went to the trouble of painting that on the top of a building?
I guess so.
That's wild.
Or maybe it's just some guy's name in British Columbia and he painted it on his roof. Old Jordan.
We really should have had our Alaska expert on this episode. Well, I mean, Cheryl lived there for 5 years.
Oh, yeah. What did she think?
She thought that it was Alaska, too.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to fucking tell. It looks like Alaska. It's fucking rivers and mountains and snow.
But there's no pine stands in Alaska.
No, there are spruce stands. There are no pine grove.
Sorry.
I mean, when I watched it for the first time, it just immediately made me want to go to Alaska. It's just the most insane place that exists still. And it's probably relatively unchanged from when this was filmed, other than like the prohibition thing.
Oh, well, there's still dry counties up there.
She was saying there weren't really.
Really?
Yeah, but she lived in Anchorage and like worked in that general area at a fishing lodge, and they definitely had access to booze.
Yeah, it seems like that's pretty much what everybody does in Alaska is just drink constantly.
Drink could just be crazy.
My only reference for Alaska is the Discovery Channel shows.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's blood, sweat, and tears on Alaska's last frontier. But life is simple, life is good when you're living like you should. Hey, hey.
Ken Burns National Parks documentary series on PBS. The last episode is dedicated only to Alaska.
Oh.
If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It will make you want to move there. It's just the most beautiful place on fucking earth. And I live in a fucking beautiful place.
I don't want to live in a beautiful place. I just want to visit.
That sounds like a temperate climate attitude, Stuart.
Favorite line in the movie, for sure.
Yeah. Great one. John Rhys-Davies is a fucking treasure.
You managed to target my backside with the regularity of an atomic clock!
So John Denver shows up in Alaska, and we meet Rick's family, his wife, Jenny, and his 10-year-old son, Tommy, who's pretty insufferable.
Like all child actors are.
Jenny seems caught off guard by John Denver's arrival. Like Rick doesn't tell her the truth most of the time.
Well, I think it was also a surprise to Rick.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Believe me, honey, I'm as surprised about this as you are. Remember we talked about Jim one day flying for us?
One day is this week.
He just sort of decided to haul ass out of L.A.
He just dropped everything and went. It's pretty obvious Rick isn't very good with business, and there's a lot of tension with him and his wife over finances and stuff. And Tommy tells John Denver,
My dad's been too busy lately. You think you could take me fishing?
Why, sure, Tommy. I'd love to. It's okay with your dad and your mom.
Which is kind of weird.
It is weird.
Although I would love to go fishing with John Denver.
Yeah, I'd kill to.
Swing that guitar. Yeah.
Sing a song that'll make the fish just jump into your creel.
They like embrace and walk off together.
You're my son now, son.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens.
That's definitely where it would have gone as a series.
They are doing some flying around. They're delivering stuff.
Yeah, the flying is so cool in this.
Very cool.
It makes Rick super horny for his wife.
Oh, what's all this coming from?
It's always there, honey.
They call that the flyer's high.
And with a tail like yours, I'd follow you anywhere.
Rick is committing one of the 3 sins that will tank your business. He is expanding too fast. You have to grow your business at a sustainable rate.
One of Robert Kiyosaki's rules.
What's his rule?
Don't expand your business too fast.
Okay.
No, I have no idea.
Rick, in his desperate bid to keep his business afloat, has gotten himself mixed up with some criminals. And we meet Ike and Link and the girl who gets shoved around, who are Native Americans, and Link is a trapper.
My mind's magnificent, my body no different, and I'm full of trapper pride.
And Ike is a mean asshole who wears a leather coat and is constantly chugging whiskey.
It's very pathetic and strange. It reminds me of the 90210 episode where Dylan relapses and starts drinking out of a flask very oddly. Definitely the podcast about 90210. It's one of my favorite shows ever.
921, whoa.
Beverly Boys, 90210.
Well, they do a shipment with Rick, which turns out to be whiskey.
And pills.
Pills in bottles, right?
There's fucking greenies in there.
Mike, what's that? The guys don't work for nothing. I mean, all these boxes. Yeah. What do you think the big plane's for?
So I guess they work for, Adderall.
So next thing you know, Sheriff John Rhys-Davies is at their house.
Welsh King.
Why is there a Shakespearean actor sheriff in Alaska?
When I was a boy, I left Scotland and I came to Alaska to make my fortune. But I quickly discovered that the only riches that I truly valued was the right to sleep at night with a quiet conscience. You're a former peace officer yourself, aren't you? You know that feeling. Or have you already forgotten?
Looks exactly like Luciano Pavarotti as well, might I add.
Shit, he really does.
Yeah, he does, definitely.
He doesn't anymore. He's getting up there. He's like 75 now. Which I don't know why they made it Scotland instead of Wales. What was the point of that?
Wales, still a little too exotic.
It's a land that confuses and baffles.
Too many Y's as vowels, It's confusing to people.
Dude, that language. The best.
Best.
Bring back Welsh and Gaelic.
Yeah, bring back Thorn.
Oh.
The TH.
Oh.
The letter that became TH.
What? Let's move on. I don't know about this. I don't like this idea. It's too scary.
I like this.
Rick goes to see McClane,
Yes.
the very bad guy.
Played by the greatness of Richard Masser. It took me a second to realize where I knew him from, but he's like the Hound Master in The Thing.
I don't know what the hell's in there. It's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
And he is also, much like Martin Cove, playing against type. He has like the kindliest face of anyone in Hollywood, and they have him play just an absolute piece of shit.
I thought he was genuinely terrifying in some parts.
Yeah.
He's got some great eyebrows, though.
Mm-hmm.
So Rick is telling him that
Lieutenant Smite came by my place today. Is that right? You say anything?
No, I just stood there and aged.
And we find out Rick owes McClane a whole bunch of money. Basically, he owns the big plane that he just purchased.
Just for flying booze alone, he could confiscate my plane.
Whose plane, Rick? You still owe me 3 payments on that plane, and you're way behind.
Yeah, I guess he's leasing it. Hard to just purchase a plane.
Yeah, he's got some deal with him where he owes him a bunch of money. And he's trying to force him to do these bootlegging shipments to pay him back.
Yeah, bootleg runs.
You fly 3 more flights for me, I'll cancel the debt.
Which, I mean, it's not like we're in Prohibition. Is it really that serious to be flying alcohol around?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, is it really that profitable, too?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't carry that many cases.
Yeah. Like, what's the fucking markup on a case of liquor? it cannot be enough to justify paying for fuel for a plane and murder.
And look what it's doing to poor leather jacket dude.
Oh, Ike, poor Ike.
I don't know about you guys, but I did not like Ike.
No, he was shitty too.
Yeah.
He was a little snot.
But this is where Rick does the right thing. He refuses. He says, no more illegal jobs. I don't want to do this anymore.
I can get square with you without flying booze.
And McClane is like, you suck at running a plane company.
Since your father-in-law died, you practically run Anakin Air into the ground.
Really low blows.
Yeah, just really awful. And then we get this great line where Rick is like,
I don't break the law, and I don't like lawbreakers. In fact, this whole deal makes me sick.
I'm gonna puke.
yeah, I had a flashback to Action Family.
Oh, yeah.
You
make me sick.
Oh, jeez.
I love a good "you make me sick" line. So then we get a fun party with John Denver.
Yeah.
Where he's singing songs.
He sings a little
This is
song.
what we're here for, right?
Yeah, I thought there was going to be more musical segments, personally. So this was a nice, uncanny, soundproof room that they were all singing.
When the music kicked up and I heard the voice of them singing, I legitimately, for a second, thought that they had got Stan Rogers to do something for this, even though I think he probably passed before this, in a similar way to John Denver, actually.
Oh, really?
I think he also died in a plane crash. Are you guys familiar with Stan Rogers?
I am, yeah.
Tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a northwest passage to the sea.
Yeah, not a ton, but yeah.
He fucking rules. I'll send you some stuff.
Oh, please.
He was really awesome.
Sorry, listeners, he's not going to send it to you, but he'll send it to me.
So they're having this fun party, and McClane calls Rick and apologizes for threatening him.
Look, I don't feel right about what happened today. I'd like to try and get it straightened out.
And says he has a legal job for him.
I need you to pick up some freshwater fishermen tomorrow morning.
But when John Denver finds out, Rick is going to go pick up fishermen, he gets really sad.
McClane.
And he runs after Rick, who's taking off in the plane.
He does not catch up with him.
No, he doesn't. And next thing we know, Rick has disappeared, and John Denver has to go look for him.
He finds his plane, and he falls out of the driver's side door of the plane, and he's been shot.
Upside down and covered in blood.
Yeah. At first I was like, this must be like shocking for him. Then I remember, he's an FBI agent. He's probably killed plenty of people.
He's not getting that satisfaction he normally has out of seeing a dead body. Yeah.
So we get a funeral, and Jenny is dressed up like a 19th century widow, which I thought was pretty good. Tommy just walks up to the coffin and goes,
Daddy.
Daddy.
That was a really weird read.
Strange choice.
Well, it's a thick fog in this scene, too. Man. If you took the people out of it, it would be very evocative.
So this is when John Denver meets McClane.
Excuse me, I don't believe we've met. Bill McClane's my name.
I'm Jim Clayton, an old friend of Rick's. I was going to fly with him for Anakin Air.
Is that right? Rick never told me. Well, then I'm sorry for your loss, too.
And it's really brief, but John Denver knows something is up with this guy, and he gets a little shiver when he walks away.
Take care.
It's just another scene that reinforces that John Denver is actually just a big dog.
Oh, boy.
You give him pets and give him treat, and let him sleep in the bed.
Based on pilots we've watched in the past, I was sure Rick was going to return as a dog and help John Denver solve his murder.
What are you going to do now?
Well, first I'm going to try licking myself, and then I'm going to catch my killer, and you're going to help.
Oh, God, I would have loved that. This would have been picked up if they had had a human-dog soul transfer like Puchinsky.
But no. We get this long fucking scene where Jenny is just crying and crying, and it's so hard to watch, and it just keeps going and going.
So long.
They don't allow you too many mistakes out there. It's a damn unforgiving country. And Rick deserved to be forgiven.
Jenny, if there's anything I can do for you and Tommy.
Yeah, I think I started watching this twice and stopped there.
I'm pretty sure it was just like commercials before and after. That was the whole break. The whole movie break was just her crying.
Yeah, this is really like the weakest scene in the whole thing.
But I guess John Denver is just going to move in with his dead buddy's widow and adopt his kids.
Yeah.
That's clearly where the show is going.
Mm-hmm.
So John Denver goes to see Sheriff John Rhys-Davies and wants to help him try to solve the case. Who killed Rick? Sheriff John Rhys-Davies believes Rick was running a bootlegging operation and was clearly ambushed and shot.
He didn't have a bootleg operation. He carried one load of liquor.
Then why was he found dead in Rankin Lake?
He went to pick up fishermen and forged a logbook about where he was going. And McClane is telling the sheriff, and he has the receipts that will prove everything.
Have you seen him?
And it gets really complicated, the facts of his murder. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and I never really understood what the problem was.
There's a lot of mumble mouth lines in this.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot that I had to rewind and still could not fucking understand.
I tried watching it with the closed captions.
Oh, yeah, bad.
But they were pretty garbled.
Yeah.
So back at the house, McClane shows up and wants the big plane,
As you can see, Mrs. Loden, I've been carrying Rick for quite a while.
which will totally sink the plane business. And he tries to scheme Jenny into some kind of arrangement.
Look, I know this puts you in a tough spot, and I don't want to make it any tougher. So I'll tell you what, you and I can work out some kind of a partnership.
I don't need your help, Mr. McClane.
Fuck you, take your plane, get out of here, jerk.
Why don't you fly some of this bootleg liquor to L.A.? You'll make a fortune.
Then Tommy attacks McClane's pilot, and he shoves the kid on the ground. Well, you can't do that in front of John Denver. And he knocks the guy on the ground and twists his arm until he apologizes to Tommy, who just attacked him.
You owe that boy an apology.
But he's grieving.
It was a grief shove.
Apologize.
Well, they take the plane, and John Denver looks sad.
Him to break into song each time he turns sad. Or just leaves a montage. Yeah. Number one disappointment with the movie, I gotta say.
It's been a long time since we had something like Cop Rock.
Yeah. Too long.
Oh, man.
Shit, Cop Rock probably came out after this, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Cop Rock on this show.
Yeah, we have.
We have?
This is where I learned about it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're right. I think we talked about it, but we didn't know what it was. And now we know what it is.
Can't unknow it.
It was like an opera.
A cop opera.
A copra.
I'm the baby merchant. Tots are us. I give you all the service and no damn fuss. Give the baby merchant just a week or 2. I'll have your baby for you.
Well, anyway, now it's time to stop the show and play a game, Joe.
Oh, Lord of mercy. You guys ready for the dumbest shit?
Yes. Yes.
So, this is John Denver or City of Denver. So if you think you know the answer, just ring in question 1. Born Henry John Deutschendorf Jr. on December 31st, 1943 in Roswell, New Mexico. Is that John Denver or the City of Denver? Yeah, go ahead, Stuart.
City of Denver.
Ooh. So sorry. Chris, you want to take a stab at this one?
Oh, I think the city of Denver started out as von Deutschenberg, not Deutschenberg. So it was John Denver all the way.
You're right. It was a trick question.
I love that the city of Denver started in Roswell.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's what caught me. Like I was sure.
All right. Question 2. Its population was 715,522 in the 2020 census. Is that John Denver or the City of Denver?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god.
Stumped. I'm totally stumped. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, all right. It was the City of Denver.
What?
But
all right.
How is that possible?
15,000 people occupied his grave.
They buried him in a mass grave. Because he had smallpox. All right. Question 3. Its nicknames include the Mile High City, Queen City of the Plains, and Wall Street of the West. Is that John Denver or City of Denver?
drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm just seeing how long this pause can go.
Ooh. Sorry, we're gonna have to move on. It's actually John Denver. Those were all his nicknames.
Oh.
Did he?
This is hard.
Last question, because I can't take any more of this. Who had 34 chart hits, 18 top 10s, 9 of which reached #1? Is that John Denver or the city of Denver?
Oh, come on. It's the city of Denver. City of Denver.
Ooh, so close.
Joe, you gotta make these easier.
I'm sorry, guys. I tried to make it equitable.
Way John Denver would have wanted.
I thought Denver was John Denver. Isn't that Denver's first name?
I thought it was named after him. Yeah.
They did that.
They even named the Rocky Mountains after a song. It was weird. Yeah.
It's wild they did that.
Yeah. Got a nice ring to it.
Let me read you a little part of the... Eli, what are you doing? Oh my god. The cat's getting into things. This is from the 2021-2022 Alaska Fur Trappers Guide. So you may not take a wolf or wolverine with a firearm until after 3 a.m. following the day in which you have flown in an airplane. However, you may shoot a wolf or wolverine caught in a trap or snare on the same day you have flown.
Ow.
That makes sense.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, just in case you ever get up there and you're like,
yeah,
gosh, I sure would like to trap some fur, but I don't know the regulations about trapping this wolverine and shooting it in the head.
Yeah, I'm like, flying in the morning, is there like a certain amount of hours that have to pass? Or is it...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021-2022 Alaska Fur Trappers Guide, Rules and Regulations.
And we'd really appreciate your votes on the Fur Trappers Reform of 2022. It's very important to us to be able to fly. And if you're flying in at noon, you still have time. Let's trap some fur. Wolverine, you know? It's unjust, un-American. Don't be like the lower 48, everyone.
Let the people trap their fur on a day they've flown in an airplane.
Sheriff John Rhys-Davies is reading an old book at the restaurant. I really like that touch. He's not just reading any book or the newspaper. He's reading this old Welsh book.
Ancient tomes of spells and ghouls and goblins.
And this is when we meet the best character in the whole show, Moose Burger Guy.
Mr. Clayton, your first time here, would you care for one of my fine moose burgers?
A moose burger?
Yeah.
It's okay, with lots of ketchup.
If you say so, Tommy, with lots of ketchup.
Coming right up.
Bizarre.
I needed more of him.
Straight out of Twin Peaks.
So wanted more of him.
The show needed more of him, for sure.
But speaking of, when we get to that house, or later on, not house, office, like community center.
Coloma Community Center.
That's what it is. Yeah, it looked, Did that not look exactly like the room in the sheriff's office in Twin Peaks?
Yes. Yeah.
Just saying, yeah.
100%.
So we can surmise that David Lynch saw higher ground and the wheels started turning.
I mean, honestly, what? It's about an FBI agent going to a small town in the middle of nowhere, and all is not as it seems. There's a bit of darkness. There's a parallel there for sure. I'm gonna watch Twin Peaks after this.
Back at the plane business, they overhear a distress call.
General call to pilots in the Jordan-Coloma area.
This is Anakin Air Station 3302. Over.
Roger, Anakin Air. Looks like we've got a mayday situation with a kayaker down about 20 miles north of Coloma on the Coloma River near Jack Simon's cabin.
John Denver springs into action.
That kayaker could be critically injured. I can handle this.
And we get a great sequence where he lands his plane in a rough river and manhandles a poor canoer who likely has a spinal injury, perhaps ruining his life.
Yeah, that guy seemed dead, right?
Yeah, he was like dead.
And he goes up to him and he's like, "Oh, thank goodness you came.
Hey, what's up?
I thought no one would come."
And then he's just slinging him around.
How did that guy expect to get back? Like, what, you just kayak down the river and then what, walk back? You sure as shit not paddling back up that.
Okay, so I thought this whole incident was orchestrated by McClane somehow.
Same.
Yeah, I did too.
Because Link is there and he's watching it. And it turns out he's the one that called in the tip that the guy was hurt.
Yeah, and Link seemed to enjoy it too. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was into it.
He loves helping.
Well, no, it looked like he was into the guy being injured on the ground.
He's one of his many enemies, even though Link is ostensibly a good guy.
I think it just turned out to be just something that happened. And it makes John Denver beloved.
Nice job, Mr. Clayton. Nice job. Word sure travels fast about a rescue around here.
Fine piece of flying.
Thank you.
Everybody in the community loves him after this. He makes John Denver suspicious of Link when he finds out that he's the one that called in the tip.
That trapper kid, Link Holmes, he's the one that spotted the man.
Link Holmes?
Yeah, lucky thing, too. He lives way down by Spruce Hollow. Must have been up in the mountains checking his trap line.
And this is when he goes to the Coloma Community Center.
Yeah.
Which we were just talking about. And I was trying to figure out where this is. I think it says Coloma. It's hard to read.
So that's the tribe.
The tribe?
Yeah, that's the tribe of Alaska indigenous people.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure. Let me look this up real quick.
On Wikipedia, it says it's a script formerly used for the Kokborok language in India and Bangladesh.
Oh yeah, Kelowna Community Center. Kelowna.
If it's Kelowna Community Center, I found that place.
I just thought that was the name of the tribe that the community center service, because they're all like in there making like carvings and baskets and whatnot.
They're watching Wheel of Fortune.
Whatever the phrase was, it had two eyes.
Where did they film that? Did they put up a sign, or did they... Oh, now my Firefox just crashed. Fuck. Fucking Firefox.
This is not the same community center. This is in Iowa, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Iowa.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
You mean this movie has lied to us?
They've built this pilot on a bed of lies.
So they go to the community center while Sheriff John Rhys-Davies is already there. And he tells John Denver again, I don't need you. I got this. Your silly FBI city ways aren't going to work here.
You want me to place an entire forest under surveillance?
What am I supposed to do? Interrogate a moose? It's so funny because he's acting like he's Mr. Alaska and he's this British actor.
Welsh. Don't get it tangled up. They'll come at us.
Wales is part of the UK.
Independence for Wales.
PSA number 2.
When he leaves the room, John Denver looks through a folder John Rhys-Davies left behind, which is pictures from the plane Rick was found in. It turns out, if you actually look at the pictures, they are full of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And when John Denver shows John Rhys-Davies the folder, he's like, fuck, you're right. There's all kinds of evidence in here.
McClane says he sent Rick to Kennecott Cove to pick up some fishermen. It was pouring rain that day. Fishermen standing around in the mud? Where are the footprints?
I like how achingly sincere John Denver is once again, because the other non-John Rhys-Davies cop leaves, gives him a dirty look, and John Denver comes back with an epic clapback.
I appreciate your kindness.
I appreciate your kindness. Just sick burn, John. Sick burn.
You got his ass.
And then they just come back in and be like, wait, how dare you look at this evidence that we left in here?
Sir Clayton, what do you think you're doing?
In this room that we were planning on trying to entrap you in.
With nothing else in it on an empty table. How dare you?
We forgot to talk about Indian cops.
This is John Willingham, the village public safety officer.
He looks just like Charles Bronson.
I'd like to shove this up your ass. I don't want to dirty my hands.
Just exactly like Charles Bronson.
He was Polish or something, right? I know one thing about Charles Bronson. He hated doing those Death Wish movies. He just did them for the money. It went very much against his beliefs.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he called it right-wing grievance bullshit or something.
Yeah, which they obviously are.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Lithuanian descent.
Lithuanian, wow.
Lithuanian. Born in Pennsylvania, but
Have you ever seen Hard Times, 1975?
oh, fucking love Hard Times. That movie is incredible.
Oh fuck yes, Hard Times is fucking amazing.
Dude, Walter Hill, baby.
Yeah, I think they really wanted to work together, Charles Bronson and Walter Hill, but it was the only movie they ever made together.
Mm-hmm.
In the same vein, there's another movie starring Jesus Christ. It has Gary Busey in it in like a minor role called Straight Time from the 70s that I highly fucking recommend. It fucking rules. Also has Harry Dean Stanton, if I remember correctly.
Dustin Hoffman too, right? That's a damn good movie.
Fucking great movie.
Given the possibility of living up to the dream in me, you know that I'll be reaching for higher ground.
Bootlegging in Alaska is as bad as cocaine in LA.
That's what he says, yeah.
Listen, I understand what's going on here. In LA, it's cocaine. Here, it's alcohol. But it's the same thing. And we're on the same team.
I don't believe it.
No, it seems crazy.
Certainly not as good as cocaine in LA, I'm sure of that.
No, not at all.
In the 80s? Shit.
Jesus Christ.
So John Denver goes to visit Link, the not-so-bad trapper. He's like yelling at John Denver for having a white savior complex.
Oh, yeah. Tell the white man everything. He'll take care of it.
Which he kind of does, but is also genuinely involved for no other reason than he sincerely cares.
He's just trying to help out.
He has no other motive.
He's just a good guy.
So Link tells John Denver,
It's the Lady Jane. She's a packer ship coming into the harbor at Jordan. She sells liquor to the fishermen. And she's pulling out tonight.
That's what I need. Thanks, Link.
and that's where the climax of the show is going to happen. While Sheriff John Rhys-Davies has discovered...
Our town benefactor served a sentence for cocaine smuggling before he came to Jordan. Get all the men you can.
He and the other cops march off with guns.
Oh, I didn't catch that he's a cocaine smuggler. I saw the mugshot come through the fax machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he figures out he's an L.A. cocaine smuggler,
Huh.
which was kind of weird that, like, John Denver didn't already know about him.
Well, what the fuck is he doing? Smuggling fucking booze.
The lesson learned here is never trust a pillar of the community.
I never will.
I never will again.
Our hero, John Denver, arrives at the Lady Jane. He pretends to be just some guy looking to buy booze.
Need something to keep a little fire in my belly. Fisherman told me I might find it here.
Going on a long flight, I need a little edge off.
The workers, they let him in to the ship, but turns out they know who he is, and they show him a gun.
Wrong move, Mr. Clayton.
And we get another John Denver's worried look.
And commercial break too, right?
Dun, 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 dun. He's so worried.
That's the same shot as before.
Like I said, he's incapable of emoting other than smiling.
He is kind of smiling a little bit. You guys missed it, but at this moment, we're treated to 10 seconds of some nerdy guy talking about AT&T.
When I talked about how we deal with our customers, or any customer I'd have, you get to know them personally. And eventually it becomes a relationship where they're not just a ABC company, they're people. They know that I got all these products and these different things behind.
I know how to talk to business guys. I work for AT&T, and then it's over.
I don't want to talk business, so I won't.
So we come back from the commercial break, and they have just locked John Denver in a room with the stacks of bottles of whiskey. And if there is any doubt what is in those boxes, he cuts it open and shows us they are in fact not salmon, as the box says. It is whiskey.
It's not salmon, it's actually tilapia, grown in China.
Even worse. Tilapia was going to be episode 2.
The great tilapia caper.
Smuggling tilapia again.
Do not ever buy tilapia. My dad was on a business trip in China, and they took him to a production factory, and it was like these cages of chickens with like chicken wire all along the bottom over like huge tanks of tilapia, and basically the fish were just living off of the chicken shit. Yeah, don't buy tilapia.
I thought tilapia was several different kinds of fish. Depending on where you go.
It's a fake fish.
It's a big.
It's just really easy to breed them, and it's a lot cheaper than basically every other fucking fish.
You guys are gonna catch hell from big tilapia here.
I'm ready. Come at me.
I'm not associated with these two gentlemen. I had no.
They're gonna throw fish at us,
Mm-hmm.
like that guy from the Muppet Show.
Never work for scale. yeah, that's a fish joke.
This is going to be exactly like Oprah getting sued by the Beef Council.
We just finished cows. We didn't get sued from the Beef Council over that. So on the dock, McClane and his men are loading the plane up with whiskey. He then gives Ike some money, presumably to go kill John Denver, and he says,
Here you go, kid. Final payment.
did Ike kill Rick?
Ooh.
I feel like we never really do find out who killed Rick.
We don't. You're right. Yeah, let's call it Ike.
Yeah. I mean, he's willing to kill McClane.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Spoiler.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with the kid.
Oh yeah, Tommy.
The son.
Yeah, he did it. He killed his own dad.
He had the means, the opportunity, and the motive.
Yeah.
He slept with his mother, killed his father, and gouged out his own eyes.
Now, what a series.
Just then, a bunch of police boats show up on the horizon, and the big plane tries to take off with all the whiskey. Cut back to the whiskey hold, and Link has arrived to save John Denver.
Link,
Come on, we don't have much time.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Thank God.
And the two of them just start punching everyone and throwing all of them overboard, probably to their deaths in the cold Alaskan water.
Jesus Christ, that water is so cold, I'm sure.
John Denver has a body count in this movie.
I was hoping for a little Wilhelm scream action, but
Oh.
yeah.
We'll throw one in here. We'll do a couple for good measure. The police charge directly at the plane, shooting at it with shotguns, and they cause it to crash and explode. Good work, boys.
Oh, 1988 as hell. I loved it.
Was McClane not on the plane when it fucking exploded? How did he get off? I didn't see it.
He didn't get on the plane. He was loading them up with whiskey, and they were going to go deliver it or distribute it.
Oh, okay, so it's just his lackeys.
So McClane just lost his booze and his really expensive plane, and he flies into a rage.
You're a dead man, Clayton.
And starts shooting at John Denver. And they run inside one of the harbor buildings and have a really intense cat and mouse game.
Yeah, he nails Link, too. Nails him right in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
When they finally find each other, John Denver and McClane, they're struggling, and Ike shoots McClane in the fucking back.
Yep.
Yeah. He nails him with what looks like a Henry Big Boy or Henry Golden. It's not a Golden Boy. It's not gold, but some sort of
fucking shotgun.
It's not a shotgun.
With that mustache, I tell you.
So then, John Denver has to use his special calming John Denver powers to get Ike to give him the gun in a moment that mirrors the beginning of the movie.
Come on, pal. Put the gun down. It's okay.
Also would have been a great opportunity for him to sing.
Yeah.
New hit song, Come On, Pal.
Yes.
Come on now, give me the gun. You don't want to do this. You're making it worse than it has to be. We could just all go home and have milkshakes. Thank God.
Wow. John Denver gets the gun and he saves the day. And then we're outside. We see Link being put into an ambulance and Sheriff John Rhys-Davies trying to get John Denver to help him with his police paperwork.
That was the easy part. Well, how about a hand with the paperwork?
I don't work here, remember?
LOL, I'm a vigilante. I don't do paperwork.
LOL, I'm a vigilante.
So we get one last scene where John Denver is fixing one of the old planes that was Jenny's father's plane, and it's pretty clear he's gonna adopt this kid and get with his buddy's widow, and we're gonna have a non-stop adventures in British Columbia, Alaska, with John Denver, Jim Clayton.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a live action tailspin.
Yes. We need more Baloo.
About what episode or season was they started introducing a bunch of gadgets? Like, let's be honest.
Oh man,
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Maybe even some time travel. I mean, Quantum Leap was a thing too, so.
It needed some time travel. It needed some weaponry.
It needed Ernest Borgnine.
Definitely. Yeah.
I could use some deep sea diving, like some scuba underwater shots.
Oh my god.
Saving salmon caught in a net or something. Like, is.
Well, I have this last little tidbit. This is from the rumor mill that is the trivia section of IMDb. John Denver and William Catt were to star in the film The Higher Ground, produced and directed by Bruce Reisman. It was inspired by John Denver's song of the same title and was scheduled to film in San Jose, California in February 1993.
Huh.
But obviously, it never happened.
They were going to make another one?
This was Higher Ground. This would have been The Higher Ground.
Oh, okay. It's like a Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad.
The Higher Ground.
Completely different.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
All right. What happened to John Denver? Do we need to talk about that?
Oh, well. Gosh, we do.
I mean, I'll just say that, like, in my household, this was like a morning to remember, not unlike 9/11. I'm actually being serious.
Really?
Because my mom came in and she was just destroyed, and she woke me up for school and said, John Denver died. He just crashed a plane. And it was like a big deal.
God damn.
Yeah.
So the plane crash wasn't his fault. For one, despite his struggles with alcohol, he was not drunk when the plane crashed. They found no alcohol in his system.
What I read was that it was a homemade plane.
Yes, so it was a home-built plane, which, I mean, is pretty common. The one time that I've been in a little two-seater plane like that was going to pick up parts with my buddy who was a, amateur pilot. He was building a helicopter at his house, and we were flying all around Texas picking up parts that people had machined for him. Also got to fly the plane.
Holy shit.
Which was sick as shit. We're just like up in the air, over like fucking the middle of nowhere, Texas. And he was like, you want to take the controls? And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? Of course I do. I was like 15.
Did you do some loops?
No, I pretty much just kept it steady.
It was probably on auto.
I mean, it may have been. But it was fucking sick regardless.
I would kill.
So a big part of why this whole thing happened is that the home-built plane, the guy that built it for him, instead of putting the fuel tank switch lever where they basically tell you to put it right between the pilot's legs, they put it behind his head in an area where he couldn't get to it while he was in his seatbelt. They even tried putting vice grips on the lever, and there was just nothing doing. And
so he just ran out of gas.
As far as I know, yeah. Yeah, it was a Long EZ two-seater Canard plane.
Yeah, I don't think I knew about that, actually.
He was trying to land at Monterey Peninsula Airport, and he made a series of touch-and-go landings and died from blunt force trauma. He was a very experienced pilot, too. Well, here, I'll give you a parachute, and when I say bail, we got to bail, but that's not going to happen. Just like very, very confident pilot.
Mm-hmm.
This is just like one of those things, landing and takeoff are very difficult, I guess.
That's pretty much the only hard part. Everything else is pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real shame. I mean, what would the future have held for John Denver if he had survived?
A Rick Rubin album.
Oh, dude, 100%. There's no chance of that not happening.
I said a Rick Rubin produced album.
What would a Buddy Holly been like if he had lived into the 60s? Not crashed in a plane.
Imagine a Buddy Holly psychedelic record.
Van Dyke Parks.
Van Dyke Parks, yeah. Doing a little something with that fella. Just getting real fucking weird. Him and the Big Bopper.
Mm-hmm.
Their acid face.
Big Popper.
Big Popper.
Mr. Land, your cooking is, as usual, quite excellent. Thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome, Ben. And tomorrow I'm fixing your favorite, lamb stew.
Lamb stew.